Hello, welcome to another Mamemeister readout thing where I read out an article I put together for Way of the Rodent. Firstly, I apologise about the darkness of this video. I'm sat in my living room and it's quite kind of dark in here, even with the light on, so hence the reason you can hardly see me, though that's probably no bad thing. So anyway, listen guys, I'm just going to read out another article. I did write a lot of these things, and a lot of them contain similar kind of references and stories that I've had in previous ones. But you know what? It doesn't matter. I'm just going to read it out anyway, and see if you enjoy it. So this one has it got? Oops, hang on a second. This one is called "Rest in Peace, Atari," which will hopefully become evident once I start reading it. Let me see if I can make it bigger so I can actually see the thing. Okay. Sure enough, I'd taken a leap forward in terms of graphics. Heck, I could now even watch real porn, and the werewolves looked like werewolves in Barbarian, but not some Lego-fied mutant from the graphic hands of a 2-year-old. But the sound, yeah, the sound was pap. Indeed, the old Commodore 64 could knock the Atari ST into a cocked hat when it came to sound. 2 years previous, courtesy of CompuNet, the Adam and Eve of the net, I was lucky enough to acquire both Mighty Bog albums. These fucking blew my mind. This was the first commercial computer-generated music I'd heard. They were good enough to warrant playing while I relaxed on the bed reading the latest issue of Zap, such was the quality. For the record, I defy anyone to listen to a piece by the Mighty Bog called Death. Listen to it in the dark and tell me that it didn't make the hairs on your neck stand up. My favourite piece, and still to this day, in my opinion, is the best computerised version, is Axel F. I mean, it doesn't just sound like Axel F, it fucking is Axel F. This was the real deal, and yet 2 years on this £350 beast I had acquired with an Atari logo stuck to it just couldn't pull it off. In comparison, its version was a plinky-plonky mishmash of shite. I wasn't happy. Yeah, the graphics were all very nice with real arcade style effects, but this sound was crap. I never could figure out how it could generate some nice sounding samples in games, and you could listen to Thriller on multiple discs. Yeah, its attempt at a tune was pitiful. Something had to be done. That done became apparent when Fred Harris and Leslie Judd lifted the bedsheet from the successor to the 64 on Micro Live. Here it was, the dream machine, the piece de resistance, the Real Madrid of computers, the Commodore Amiga. Only one problem, the fucker came in at £1,000. That would prove to be a problem. I stuck with Atari ST for a while, but steadily became disillusioned with its rushed, lacklustre coin-up conversions. Things were to change shortly after. I was scouring one of the boring computer mags, PCW or something I think it was called. Ian always bought the intellectual mags. I didn't really give a fuck about the latest Citizen dot matrix printer or just how powerful the latest military computer was. I wanted game reviews and nothing else. But at the back of said magazine was a series of ads, one of which grabbed me. We now stock the long-awaited powerful Amiga 500, easily affordable at £450. Trade-ins available. I reread that last bit and had Ian verify it. The next Saturday found Ian and I always copied each other with computers. We were both in the scene at the same time and had the same passion for games and technology, although he tinkered with MIDI shit, which I never bothered with. Pardon me. Anyway, Ian and I made our way into Portobello, a sort of seaside resort on the outskirts of Edinburgh, to the funnily enough named Portobello Computer Centre. One inside, we felt like Sick Boy, Renton, Spud and Begbie, about to make our first drugs deal with Mr. Big. So, you're interested in the Amiga then? Nice machine indeed. And how are you going to pay? I was wondering if you would take my Atari 520 as part payment. Oh, and the floppy disk drive. After much scrutiny, the deal was struck. £350 plus my Atari ST and drive for a lovely shiny new Amiga 500. Ian closed the same deal and we left, foot to the metal, eager to investigate our new technology. First impressions weren't good. The old hand holding a disc was a bit shitily drawn and looked a tad rough. The first few days were spent discovering Workbench and the joys of CLI. This machine was acquired long before the days of game packs. No free games here, folks, not even a deluxe paint in sight. Contact was soon made with Mr. Big, the aforementioned child godfather who dealt in games. He was 13, obnoxious, spoiled and very irritating, demanding, but he ruled when games were concerned. He had contacts, a group he was careful to keep me off, but heck, I didn't care. I'd win his friendship with an occasional game of pool, and that was enough. I always felt slightly uneasy visiting him. Here I was, 20 years old, chapping in the door of a 13-year-old. However, his bedroom was heaven. He had games that were in the shops, he had games that were previewed, and he even had games that weren't even fucking written. The hardest part was what I didn't want. I had 10 discs and he had 100 games. I never could get away quick enough, slamming the door of the car, engine on, clutching my recently proffered gaming candy. Watching the pages turn as the story was revealed, fairy tale adventure drew me in, mesmerised with the music. This seemingly endless world that begged to be discovered. As darkness fell, my heart would pound as the music picked up, and out of the edge of the screen would appear 4 demons from the night. I felled a couple but legged it before finding sanctuary in a church graveyard. As dawn rose, I continued on my quest to rid the land once and for all of the evil. Reading Jeff's review of Marble Madness, Jeff Minter, I think I'm talking about here. Reading Jeff Minter's review of Marble Madness, he exclaimed that the Amiga version was the real thing, and he was right. The arcade graphics blended perfectly with the sound effects. I could at last retire my 64 memories, as here was a machine that had just moved the goalposts with sound. Months passed, game collection grew, and so did music demos. Can't recall the name, but this one was special. It had a red devil and a lot of dancing orbs, with some of the most haunting sounds this side of any trance track. Brian had a PC. Sure enough, he had 3D tennis in a 3D game set in a castle, the object being to defeat Hitler. But when he heard my Jesus and Ease demo, he was floored. I even copied this onto an audio cassette and would listen to it in the car. This computer was to change my expectation of sound. Today it's all too real. Sound is fantastic and is taken for granted. Somehow though, being there at the forefront that was the infancy of computer games was the best time of my life. Everything was new, unexplored, and induced many a whoop and fuck will you check that out. These days are gone, but the memory lives on forever. That's it guys, thanks for watching. Please give me your comments if you want any more of these things, and I'll see you again soon. Thanks for watching.